Sakti returned to Faraway by herself the next weekend. The fortune teller said the goddess of water resided in a maelstrom far to the east, so she needed to hire someone to take her out in a boat. What Sakti initially thought would be an easy task quickly turned into a nightmarish ordeal of running around Faraway asking anyone and everyone if they might know of someone who would take her out to sea. Whenever she mentioned a maelstrom to the east, however, their attitude took an immediate turn, and they treated her as if she was a lunatic. It was a fruitless endeavor, and the day drew toward its end. Sakti really did not want to drive all the way back to Jealousy, having made no progress, but she couldn't stay too much longer because she had work when the weekend was over. Sakti, there's only one more boating service that hasn't closed yet. If this one doesn't work, I'll have to think of something else. Sakti, excuse me. Saleswoman, oh, we're just about to close for the day, but I'd be more than happy to help you any way I can. Sakti, yes, well, I have somewhat of an odd request. I need a boat to take me out to a rather peculiar location. Saleswoman, well, we are more than happy to accommodate you in any way we can. Where might this location be? Sakti, well, it's to the east. It's supposedly an infamous maelstrom. The saleswoman's accommodating demeanor took an immediate turn, and she was overtaken with the same panic as those Sakti had asked before. The employee attempted to escape farther back into their store, but Sakti grabbed the saleswoman's arm and stopped her. Sakti, please, everyone else has turned me away. Saleswoman, rightly so. You're crazy. No sane person would ever willingly sail out in that direction. You'd best give up if you value your life. The saleswoman attempted to break away from Sakti's grip, but Sakti just barely managed to keep her from scampering away. Sakti shoved an envelope stuffed with cash onto the saleswoman. Sakti, please, I need to go out there. I'll pay double, up front. The saleswoman let out a sigh and stopped trying to break away. She pushed the envelope back onto Sakti. Saleswoman, keep your money. No amount of money will make me change my mind. I'm in no hurry to send any of my sailors to their deaths. If you're that desperate, try asking around the north side of town where all the non-humans gather. Try the old bar called the Birdcage. I've heard that a bunch of old half-monster sailors gather there. Rumor is that they are a real nasty bunch, but I'm sure there's not much they won't do for money. I'm sure you could find someone crazy enough to take you out into the maelstrom for the right price. If you want my advice, it'd be better if you just gave up. I'm sure nothing you need is worth dying for, or forcing yourself to employ a half-monster over. Sakti disregarded the last part of the saleswoman's advice, stuffed her money into her bag, and left. She walked over to the north side of Faraway, which was even more run down than the rest of the city. Sakti avoided it for the most part on her earlier visit because it looked unsafe. Despite her reservations about walking around such a shady-looking area, she arrived at the Birdcage without trouble. Sakti entered inside, and it was not at all like she imagined it to be. It was dark, dour, and quiet inside. A heavy cloud of smoke lingered in the air and made it hard to breathe. A bunch of rough-looking non-humans sat around with grim expressions. It looked like they had all just arrived from a funeral. She wasn't expecting anything too out of the ordinary, but she imagined a bar would be a bit more social. The patrons were all half-on, or half-monsters. The half-on were beings who were said to have the blood of monsters running through their veins. Their bodies were covered in monster features, and they were said to utilize strange and powerful abilities through their monster blood. Sakti noted there wasn't a single human among them. The setting didn't exactly inspire confidence. Sakti approached the bar, making sure to leave enough space between her and a rather pitiful-looking drunk who had his face buried into the counter. Sakti, excuse me. Bartender.
Huh? A human? What can I get you, human? You know, this isn't really a place for kids, or humans. You're better off finding an establishment run by your own kind.
Sakti, I was told I might be able to find someone here I can hire to sail into the Maelstrom to the east. Do you know anyone who might be interested? I have money. Bartender.
Huh. Whoever told you that is a damn fool. Kid, don't you know? The Maelstrom is a cursed place. It is a graveyard for ships and their sailors. Its waters have raged on for over 100 years under the cover of a terrible, never-ending storm. All who sail into the Maelstrom are never heard from again. Occasionally, would-be adventurers like you come around thinking they are going to be the one to solve the mystery of the cursed Maelstrom, but the results are always the same. Sometimes fragments of their ship wash up on the shore, but any trace of the individual is never seen again. You'd best give up if you value your life.
Sakti, I can't just give up. I need to sail into the Maelstrom. Is there really no one who can help me? Bartender.
Kid, all those crazy enough to sail into the Maelstrom have already done so. They are fools who desire an early, watery grave, and have rightfully never returned. Take your madness elsewhere. Nobody here is dumb enough to join your suicide mission. Now, can I get you a drink or a smoke?
Sakti neither drank nor smoked, but both sounded suddenly appealing to her. Still, she decided against it, as she was aware how out of place she was. Sakti, no, sorry to bother you. Sakti left the establishment. Outside, she found a spot overlooking the beach, where she slumped over against a railing and ruminated. Her spirit and optimism were crushed, and yet she couldn't even afford herself the luxury of tears. Sakti, I'm just not strong enough to help Iskir on my own. Maybe this just wasn't meant to be after all. A grizzled voice spoke out to her without warning, which snapped her out of her moody daze. Unknown person.
Hey, kid.
An old shark-half-on sailor shuffled up toward her. Even from quite a ways away from him, she could smell he reeked of alcohol. He stared at her, and his expression of pity made her wonder if she looked a bit too depressed. Sharkman sailor, I overheard you talking in the bar. Why do you need to sail out into the Maelstrom? There are easier ways to die, you know. Sakti, I don't plan on dying. I need to sail into a gate at the center of the Maelstrom and return. That gate might have something to help my sick friend. Sharkman sailor, I've seen a lot of things out at sea and heard many strange tales. Never heard of anything like a gate at the center of a Maelstrom before. Sounds like a tall tale to me. He thought for a bit before he sank up against the railing somewhat alongside her. Sharkman sailor, a sick friend, huh? What makes you so sure you'll return alive? You confident in your sailing? Sakti, no, I don't know the first thing about sailing. I've never been on a boat before. I can't even swim. If I knew what I was doing, I would just buy a boat and sail out myself. Sharkman sailor, so you're just relying on luck to come back alive? Not even your own luck, but the luck of whatever sorry sap you rope into your quest? That sounds pretty stupid if you ask me. Sakti, what choice do I have? What else can I do? The man pulled a flask out from his coat and drank from it. Sharkman sailor, I ain't got answers to your life's problems. I'm just a nobody who's lived far past his time. Sakti, I don't need you to tell me what to do. I already know what I need to do. I'm going to sail out into the Maelstrom. I'll find someone willing to help me, even if I have to give everything I have. I'll go knocking on doors and drive over to the next town over if that's what it takes. If that doesn't work, I'll have no choice but to buy a boat and teach myself how to sail. So I have to go now, if you'll excuse me. Before Sakti got too far away, the sailor called out to her. Sharkman sailor, kid, I don't think you're gonna make it to the Maelstrom like that. Sakti, I don't care what you think. Sharkman sailor, you're serious, aren't you? You're going to sail into the Maelstrom, no matter what. Sakti, I am. The sailor took out his flask again and took a long drink. He then let out a sharp and intense breath of air. Sharkman sailor, then you're gonna need a damn good sailor to take you out there. So, let's talk business. Sakti, what are you talking about? Sharkman sailor, what do you mean? I'm offering to help you out. For the right price, of course. The name is Rollin. I've been sailing my whole life. Maybe not so much in my older years, but I can still earn my keep. Sakti, you just said what I was trying to do was stupid, and that it sounded like a tall tale. Rollin, no, I said relying on luck, especially someone else's luck, to accomplish your goals is stupid. Fortunately, I don't need luck because I've got skill. Whether or not your gate in the middle of the sea exists doesn't matter to me. All I need to do is take you out there, right? Sakti, well, yeah. Rollin, then it's settled. Sakti, what? No! I mean, I don't know anything about you. Rollin, you want a freaking job application? From the way you've been talking, it sounds like you've either got me or nothing. Or is me being a half-on a problem? Are you still holding out to find help from another human? Sakti, no, it's not that. He's right. I really don't have a choice. I guess I should be grateful I finally found someone to help me, but I'm not too sure about this guy. Rollin, what? Do you want to hire me to sell you out into the Maelstrom or not? Sakti, I do. Rollin, good. I can take you out there. What's your name, kid? Sakti. My name is Sakti. I'm not a kid. I'm 23. Rollin, okay, Sakti. I'll indulge your curiosity since we're doing business together. I was a privateer during the First War. Never lost a ship to the sea or to the enemy. After the war, I did some odd jobs here and there. I eventually ended up here doing contract work for the New Republic on this planet. Mostly just protecting cargo ships from monsters as they traveled from one continent to the other. Point is, I have a clean and respectable service record. If you doubt my credentials, you can look them up in the service registry through the Ministry of Defense. Sakti, no, that's alright. An inquiry really isn't necessary. It'll just delay things, and like you said, it's not like I have much of a choice. Rollin, you catch on quickly. That speeds things along. So, I'll sail out to the Maelstrom for you, if you can pay. The price is 5 times the going rate to charter a boat at the docks. Sakti, that's expensive. Rollin, what, you can't afford it? I can wait till you get the money. Sakti, no, I have the money. Rollin, good. Everything's up front. Money is no good to a dead man, but I have family on another planet I can wire funds to, so I'll have earned my pay regardless. Sakti, I understand, but like I said, I don't plan on dying. Rollin, most people don't. You never know. Sakti, now you don't sound so confident in your skill. Rollin, I'm just being realistic, kid. So, do you have the money? Sakti, I have the money, but it'll make a huge dent in my finances. I guess by now I should expect to be taken advantage of, given the circumstance. If I don't take this opportunity, I might never get another chance like this. Sakti dug through her bag and threw Rollin an envelope of cash, pretty much all she had brought with her. Sakti, that should be enough. Rollin sorted through the money and counted it twice over. He stuffed the money into his coat. Rollin, well, you've satisfied my requirements. We can leave whenever you're ready for about a week out at sea. Sakti, just like that? Rollin, just like that. You think an old fish like me has anything going on in his life? Sakti, I can't just leave now. I need some time to prepare. I need to get permission from time off for my job. I also need to make sure my roommate will be okay with me gone for a while. I'd rather Sarah didn't get food delivered for a whole week. Rollin, you do that. I'll be ready whenever you are. Keep my ship, the Emerald, moored at Dock 11. It's an old destroyer of non-human make, so you can't miss it. I live aboard it. I never really sail out all that much anymore. So you can come by anytime you're ready. Oh, and by the way, if it wasn't obvious, we'll be venturing out into the wilderness. There are no definite protections against monsters out at sea. It's a 3-day journey to reach the Maelstrom, and assuming we survive the ordeal, it'll take 3 days to get back as well. Just be ready for anything. The ship has defenses against monsters, but those will only take us so far. I wouldn't be surprised if we gotta take care of at least some of them ourselves. All that to say, hopefully you aren't afraid of monsters or anything like that, and are at least somewhat competent with a weapon. Sakti, don't worry about me, Rollin. I won't be a burden. I just trust that you'll hold up your end of the bargain. With confidence in her mission restored, or at least as much as she could muster given what had transpired, Sakti returned home. When Sakti got home, she relayed everything that had happened to Sarah, but Sarah responded with her usual lack of interest. Sarah, so, you managed to find someone to help you out, huh? Well, that's good. I knew it would work out somehow. Still, I can't believe you gave some random drunk that much money. If you handed me that much money, you'd never see me again, that's for sure. I'd buy a first-class ticket off this rock and be laughing all the way to the bank. Sakti, you think I got robbed? Sarah, nah, I'm sure it'll be fine. You have pretty good judgment when it comes to people. I'm just saying you have way more faith in strangers than I could ever muster. Worst case scenario, you'll have to file a claim with the Ministry of Defense. I'm sure they could easily track down a shady character like that, no problem. I mean, a shark half-on? Those are pretty rare non-humans on a planet like this. Anyway, when are you leaving? You should probably do it soon. Shouldn't keep this sailor guy waiting, you know? Sakti, I'll have to request some time off from work, but I plan on leaving as soon as I can. It'll still probably be a few weeks out. Sarah, well, don't worry about me. It's only a week. I can manage by myself for at least that long. You just focus on doing what you need to do, okay? Sakti, I will. Thank you for humoring me lately. I'm sure if you had known my life would become so hectic, you wouldn't have wanted to become my roommate. Sarah, it's not a big deal. My ordinary, reclusive life balances out the craziness going on in yours. What you have going on only affects me insofar as I allow myself to become involved anyway. So, don't think you're bothering me or anything like that. Sakti, well, thanks anyway. I appreciate you supporting me, even though we haven't really known each other that long. Sarah, no problem. Oh, there is one thing I wanted to ask. Sakti, what is it? Sarah, well, you're going to be out in the wilderness when you set sail, right? Aren't you going to run into monsters and stuff? Sakti, yeah, I've never been out at sea, but I imagine it's the same on land. Generally, you'll run into monsters anywhere you're not protected by barriers. Since only major cities and roads have barriers, it's common to run into monsters out in the wilderness. What about it? Sarah, shouldn't you take like a weapon or something? I've read that the monsters in the ocean on Frontier are especially dangerous. Sakti, yeah, I plan on taking my gun. Sarah, oh, that's good. But don't you think you should take something bigger? Sakti, bigger? What do you mean? Sarah, you know, like the hatchet. Sakti, the hatchet. You want me to bring the hatchet? Sarah, well, yeah, it may not be very modern, but it's a magical weapon. It was able to cause a debilitating wound to a so-called immortal being. Don't you think that'd be a useful thing to have on hand? Sakti, I don't know. That doesn't seem like a good idea. I think it would be better not to mess around with something like that. We still don't really know all that much about it. Sarah, what's to know? It may be a weird magic thing, but it's still a weapon. You swing it at stuff you want to destroy. Simple as that. You may have reservations about using something that hurt your friend, but you have a powerful tool at your disposal. Who knows what you'll run into out there? I don't see why you shouldn't use it to better protect yourself. Sakti, should I take the hatchet? I will take the hatchet. Sakti, I suppose you're right. It's probably better than just leaving it around here anyway. I imagine it'll make short work of any monsters if I happen to run into them. Sarah, exactly. Plus, you don't even have to use it if you feel like you don't need to. It's just a little extra protection. Sakti, she seems pretty pleased that I agreed with her.